Hello Champagne Dreamers, welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl Miss Jaye, the trash queen of glam, geek, and gore. And we are trucking right on through in this 2021 Declutter series. And today we're doing a brand declutter. So I have a ton of products from ColourPop. And I just haven't had a chance to go through my ColourPop collection for a while. So we are going to go through all of it and I'm going to show you what it is that I decluttered. So as with all of these videos, I'm going to have a related post on JanessaJaye.com that shows the full collection, and we're going to show off what I'm choosing to declutter from my collection. So if you're interested in that, then stick around because we're getting into it right now. Welcome to another declutter video, this time featuring our benevolent overlord, ColourPop. So I'm going to show off all of the things that I have decided to declutter. If you want to see all of the products that were in my ColourPop collection, head over to JanessaJaye.com and you can see the companion post for this declutter. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So first, let's talk about these beautiful Jelly Much shadows. These are gorgeous. You can kind of see the colors on the side of the container, and these are a couple of gel liners. The problem with these is that ColourPop's packaging is just not very good for liquidy, creamy, jelly kind of things. All of these dried up within probably 4 months of me owning them. The only reason why they're not in the garbage is because I kept them for this video. I knew I was going to do a declutter, and so I've been hanging on to these for way too long, but these dried up way too fast. I made sure that I tightened the lids, all that kind of stuff, anytime I played with these, but they just dried up super fast and they're rock hard. Same thing with these Glitterly Obsessed. Do you remember the big controversy about these where they were saying, oh, they ripped off Lemonhead LA and they had placed an order? Whatever they did to reverse engineer these, they did not do as good of a job because the glitter gels themselves were never as good. And these, like the other ones, the packaging, I mean, they're beautiful and then they're just hard as a rock. And there's a couple of them here. This one, I don't know if you can see exactly, but there's some kind of liquid from a glitter gel. I don't know what that's about. That makes me feel gross because I've worn this one on my face and there's just random weird liquid or oil that has separated. And then this is the red shade from the Bretman Rock collection. And this is actually chunky. So it's chunked up into little boulders of glitter. So these are really disappointing. And they're sticky. This packaging, just terrible. Now I did have one shade that was still good in the big sizes, and I did have a couple of small ones that are in the glass packaging, and they were still good. That's what I've got kind of on my hands today. And so I decided to keep those, but all the rest of these are going, and they're just going straight in the trash because I don't know if you could add something to these to bring them back to life, but they're gross. Now let's talk about Super Shocks. Now, I don't love the Super Shock formula, but somehow I keep getting suckered into buying it. There are beautiful colors, and some of these are still beautiful, but they're just getting old. Like this one, you can kind of see through the cover has gotten cracked. And this one I've hit pan on, so I just don't love them. And if somebody else can get some use out of these, I'm gonna pass these along to my makeup network. This is one that was a promo for the 4th birthday of ColourPop. If you placed an order over $25, you got this. I kept one that was for the 5th anniversary of ColourPop. And I kept a few of the mint and peach collection ones that are a little bit newer, but all of these are gonna go. Now here we've got some random cheek products. This is a loose highlighter. This is the shade Boomin'. This is from the Shayla collection. Don't mind my nails. They're also gross. I have been swatching and playing as I've been trying to decide what to declutter, so I've got makeup all over my fingers. But this is the Boomin' highlighter from the Shayla collection. I just don't love loose highlighters. That is way too gold for me to typically want to use, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that. And this one, I love the packaging. This is cute. I love My Little Pony, but this color, it's kind of gotten hard pan. It's not very impactful. I may take this pan out and reuse this compact, but maybe not because of something we're gonna see a little bit later. Then we have two of these blushes. So there's a bright pink blush. I do like this, but I have so many blushes and I'm never reaching for these ColourPop blush singles. They're just not that interesting to me. I bought that thinking I might use it for contour as a dupe for NARS's Seduction, but they need to go. I've never played with them except to run my finger over them. They're fine, but they're not great. And these little motherfuckers trying to roll away. So these are the cream blush and highlight sticks. So I don't know why I went a little crazy and I bought a few of these. I don't love cream blush and highlight. I just don't. And so these are 3 shades: Flamenco, Mini Me, and Bullseye for the highlight. Now, I did keep 1 highlighter and 1 blush, so I had 5 of these, and I decided to keep 1 of each just to see if I can use them in a look. I might do like a full face of ColourPop, but I don't like these enough, and I don't use cream blushes enough to justify it, so I decided to get rid of these 3. This is the All-Star Setting Spray. Nothing wrong with this. I've had it for a long time. I don't know if setting sprays really get bad. I keep mine way too long. But I did say in my resolutions video, and I'll go ahead and link that up here in the cards, but I did my beauty resolutions for 2021, and I said that I was kind of giving up on setting sprays. And since this one's a little bit older and I'm not really checking for setting sprays, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this All-Star Setting Spray. It was fine. I liked it, but I just don't need it. And here's just a whole shit ton of lip products. Some of these are old. Like these 3 on the end for sure are super old. I just kept them because the colors are fun. But these I know are old and gross. And a lot of these are probably too old. And there's some glosses in here. And I cleaned out almost all of my ColourPop lips. I don't use ColourPop lips. For liquid lipsticks, I've got so many different options. When I was first getting into liquid lipsticks, these were phenomenal because they were cheap. It was a way for me to experiment with colors, to learn how to use that type of formula, and really play around with it. But now I hate to say it, but I've kind of outgrown ColourPop. In terms of glosses and liquid lipsticks, this is pretty much everything that I had. I think I kept the Villains glosses, so I've maybe got a couple of those, but I really don't have very many lip products left from ColourPop. All right, some more lip products, as well as these pencils. Now, I like the ColourPop pencils. I don't love them. They are great when they are brand new, but they tend to dry out. So any of these that are the solid color, these are the newer ones. So if they were looking kind of dried out and weren't really working very well, which unfortunately was 2 greens, it's a tough life. I went ahead and got rid of those. And also the ones where it's just the color on the ends, those are kind of the older style before they went to these full color packaging. So I got rid of any of them that just had the white body. I didn't even test those. I was like, those are super old. This is another one that's super old. I had just a few of these lippy sticks. And this, what shade is this? This is the shade Chi Chi, which is still beautiful, but I know I've had these for years. There are a couple green ones that I kept, and they're probably gross, and I'm probably gonna get, I don't know, ptomaine or some shit and die, but I don't care. I just love them. Now I have some tube lipsticks. I kept a few tube lipsticks. I kept all of my Sophia Nygaard lipsticks because I adore her, and those colors were beautiful. But I did get rid of, from the Villains collection, this is Cruella. I swatched this for, I have so many red lipsticks. I swatched this for the review and then never ever used it. And the Ursula one is beautiful, but it broke. And so I've just got this stubby little dick lipstick. Ugh, it's such a disappointment. So I decided to get rid of that one too. I did keep the Maleficent one, and then I've got just some random, this is kind of a nudie pink. We've got kind of a brown. I don't know why I keep buying brown lipstick. Another brown lipstick. I think these were from the Brown Sugar collection. I bought the PR box. I don't know why. I love that palette. The palette is beautiful, but I don't wear brown lipstick. And this pink, I just decided to get rid of this. I hadn't really played with it, and it's just been sitting around, and I clunked the end, so I was like, it can go. And then finally, I had 2 of these So Juicy tubes. I kept the red one. I have the like bright red one because I want to do a lip. I have a lip idea for that, but this orange one, it's kind of like separating, so I'll probably just throw that away. But this one, they smell nice and the plumping is not unpleasant, but these kind of glosses are not usually my thing, so I'm not surprised that this didn't get used. All right, so now we are moving on to palettes. I have quite a few ColourPop palettes. I have a bunch of the monochromatic palettes. If you go to the post on JanessaJ.com, you will see those, and I love them. So don't forget to check out that post. But here are a few that I'm getting rid of. Starting with the Chasing Rainbows. And this is one that I actually put together. A lot of these I have customized because with ColourPop, a lot of their early palettes, I don't know if they still do it as much. I haven't bought as many of the new palettes, but they all used to be this smaller pan size, and they're all magnetized, so you could take them out. So these are actually shades from different palettes, because this was called Chasing Rainbows, and then it was this weird, like neutrally kind of color story with a couple fun colors. So I tried to make it as rainbowy as possible, but I am gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. Now I may keep a couple of these shades. We're gonna talk about that in a second. And that's because of these two palettes. These are collab palettes. So here's the Perception palette. This is Shayla X ColourPop, makeup by Shayla. And I think some of these are beautiful, but I just don't reach for this palette. And there's a couple individual shades that I really love that I may end up keeping, but I just don't need the whole palette. And then there's the So Jaded by Kathleen Lights. I love crystals and stones. I have a huge stone collection and crystal collection, and I thought this palette was beautiful. There's way too many neutrals, but I love this packaging so much. So what I've decided to do is I'm gonna go through and figure out which of these I want to keep. And then I'm gonna go through these couple of palettes, and I'll go through another palette that I'll show you here in a second. And I'm gonna put together a new So Jaded palette. So I'm gonna put together one, like these pressed glitters, gross, they can go. But like this green can stay, and that shade is beautiful, and that shade is beautiful. So I'm gonna get as many sparkly, beautiful shimmers, maybe a couple of mattes if they're really special, but I'm gonna put together my custom version, and then I'll keep this packaging with those shades and get rid of the rest of the shades. All right, so this is a magnetic palette with all kinds of fun stickers. Remember Makeup Monsters? Oh, I have these stickers from Makeup Monsters, and it makes me so nostalgic. So this is a double layer palette. More Makeup Monster stickers. This I got on Amazon, and this is just a beautiful palette. But these are all singles from ColourPop. So these have been depotted out of other palettes when I've rearranged things like the Chasing Rainbows palette, or I did my own version of the Disney Villains palette. I'll go ahead and link that down below. It's on JanessaJ.com. I did a palette redesign live where it wasn't really live, it was pictures, but I took ColourPop singles from other palettes and put them together. So I'm gonna look through these singles, and I'm gonna look through those other two palettes, and I'm gonna put together my new So Jaded, and this whole palette, whatever's left, and whatever's left from those other palettes, the Shayla and the Chasing Rainbows, are gonna go. So this whole thing, it's just, this is what happens when you depot a bunch of ColourPop. It just turns into an old school Morphe palette. Like, it's just the same shade over and over and over again. So obviously these came from different palettes, but look at that. Look at that, how much it repeats. So it's a little disappointing that I spent as much money. Even though ColourPop is a cheaper brand, it's disappointing to have spent this much and have this much repetition, but we're gonna make the most of it. This is the Femme Rosa palette, or the She palette, or whatever, by Carucci. I don't know who that is. I don't know why this palette has 16 names. I don't know what's going on. It's beautiful. It's a pretty pink berry color story, but it's super boring for me. Like, I just don't use these colors. I think I'm a sucker for this kind of rose packaging. I love roses. I love pictures of roses. And when you just like layer a bunch of roses together, that's something that will draw me in immediately. I'm such a sucker, and I totally fell for it. And I just don't need this. It's pretty. I don't even think there's any shades in here I'm going to pull out for the So Jaded. That one maybe. That's kind of a pretty, but I bet I have that somewhere else, so I don't know. This can go. It's pretty. Someone else who does more neutrally pink looks will love it. And then we've got a couple of face palettes. So these are little highlighter palettes. This is the I Like Your Face. This is the one that's supposed to be kind of a low-key dupe for the Nicole Guerrero Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit. So some of these shades are really pretty, but I've got the Nicole Guerrero Glow Kit. So I'm going to pull out this shade because I really love like a creamsicle orangey, corally pink moment for a highlighter. So sorry to whoever gets this, because I'm going to keep that shade, but the rest of these are going to go. And then this is the In Nude Endo. This is just another highlighter palette with some beautiful nudie kind of shades, but it's just kind of a repetition in my collection, so I'm going to get rid of it. And finally, I'm going to get rid of this baby. This is, I haven't even played with this. I didn't review it, and I just haven't reached for it. And that's my own custom designed rainbow palette. So they were having one of those build your own palette sales, and look at these colors. These are so pretty. But I made this beautiful palette, and I have not touched it. I've got so many rainbow palettes. So I don't know, maybe I'll do like one. I don't know. Maybe I did do a review of this because I've played with these a little bit. I don't know. I have to think. I might keep a couple of these shades, but I know somebody who will love this. My friend Erica will love this, so I think it's gonna go to her, but like I said, I may pull out a couple of the shades, but it's so beautiful. I love it. This was my favorite. This was before they released that like perfect rainbow palette. And now they've put out another rainbow palette since then. So if I really was jonesing for a ColourPop rainbow palette, I could get one. So I think this has to go. My baby. And that is the end of the ColourPop Declutter. I hope you enjoyed. All right, that is it. That is my collection and declutter featuring our Lord and Savior ColourPop. I am super excited to be working on through this declutter. I hope you're enjoying it. Let me know down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, or you can give me a thumbs down. I don't really care. It's engagement either way, and the algorithm eats that shit up. So go ahead and give me either one. While you're down there, don't forget that you can subscribe. And if you hit the bell icon, you can also be notified of all future uploads. I upload at least once a week, and sometimes, if you're really, really, really well behaved, I might have a bonus video for you. Ooh, special. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website, The World of Champagne at JanessaJ.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying. I'm enjoying. It's declutter season. It's the time. Let's do it. Let's get some things out. And until I see you again, bye.